Hi, this is Firestarters TV. I'm Pamela Segneri, and today I have on the couch a very special guest, Aileen Munn. Now, Aileen, you're not a pastor?
No, I'm not.
You're not a pulpiteer?
No.
You and Paul, your husband, are business people.
That's correct, yep. We're Paul and Aileen Munn, the lawn specialist at Brighton.
But God called you.
He certainly did. In 2005, Paul got a distinct message that said, Paul, I want you to go to Cambodia. Now, I didn't even know where Cambodia was, so I had to go have a look on the atlas to find it, but we certainly went over there and had our eyes wide open.
Yeah, it's quite confronting, isn't it?
It is, it is.
Yeah.
So we thought we have to do something. We couldn't
Yes.
we couldn't go back home and not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So, and God used you and is still using you.
Yes.
In a very powerful way. So you were ministering to the people you met that were living in the rubbish dump in Phnom Penh.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know, we've been to Phnom Penh a few times, and so I'm familiar with the smell.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, we were starting to take tons of rice into the actual rubbish dump and distributing to the rubbish pickers, but we couldn't sustain that, and so we had to find another way of helping them.
Yeah.
And it was the first community that we came into was 21 families. So we formed friendships with this community, and we asked them, you know, if you had the chance to get away from here, would you take it? And the young leader of the village was 30, and he said, yes, I don't want this for my children.
No.
You know, the sickness and the dysentery and the kids just not developing properly. No. So we went back and we fundraised, and we were able to raise funds to purchase a block of land in 2007. And had all the community leaders with their thumbprints to secure the land for them.
Yeah.
And Habitat for Humanity helped to build 21 homes in 2009.
Because as foreigners, we actually can't own land in Cambodia.
That's correct.
So, you know, but a lot of people would say, but, you know, these are people from a rubbish dump. You know, what are you giving them land for? What are they going to do? But God knows, doesn't He?
That's right. They're human beings in the image of God.
Yeah.
And we just, love gave that land. And, you know, I just wanted them to have that dignity. I want them to have, I'm a grandmother. Yeah. You know, to give their children a chance to live in an environment that didn't have pollution.
Yes.
And we've been going back 10 years now, so we can see the difference from the families that are still around the rubbish dumps.
Yeah.
The children have got sores that don't heal.
Yeah.
They're smaller weight for their height. And the children that are up in this new community that's 40 kilometres north, they've got fresh air. They're healthy.
Yeah.
You can see them thriving.
Yeah, yeah.
And to me, that's amazing. I get so happy to see
Of course.
You know, the change and the growth
and the most exciting thing is you've now been able to build a school.
It's early learning. It's a kindergarten, so it's all day, 7 in the morning till 5 at night.
Yeah.
And it allows the young mums from 5 different communities up there to go and get a job. So you've got two heads of the family having a chance to get further their economic, and the children are getting Khmer, their own language learning in the morning. Yeah. They're getting hot food during the day, Monday to Friday, and in the afternoon they learn English. So, yeah.
And that changes their lives. It changes the individual, but it changes the community.
Yeah, you've got children that will be confident. You know, the state government over there gives them a 5-week pre-entry when they're 6, and a lot of the little ones can't cope with that. So there's dropout early from school.
Yeah.
So with this, the 4-year-olds, they've got virtually 2 years of education, and the 5-year-olds, well, they get 12 months. But 21 of our children have just graduated into school, and that's a local school just a kilometre down the road. So yeah, they're going out, and they're going out confident.
Yeah. And it's changing lives, changing the community, changing the family.
Yeah.
And these people are seeing firsthand that the Almighty God loves them.
Yeah, they're valued. They're valued, and that's how they are. And you know, the community at Udong, you can see that even the teachers.
Yeah.
They're young teenagers, graduated out of high school themselves. We gave them 3 months of tutoring to become kindy teachers, and they're thrown in. But you can see their growth.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And this is what God does on a practical sense. You don't have to stand in a pulpit and direct traffic. You know, there is a part of the heart of God that wants us to engage and build relationships and therefore make the world a better place, because they see the other from their national religions, and we're not asking them for anything.
No, we're just giving, and we're loving, and just our driver, for instance, he was brought up in a different faith, and but he got to see Jesus up close. Yeah. And you know, one day he said, "I get it." Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
It's very encouraging.
It's extraordinarily encouraging, and we understand by that's why we do this.
For sure.
We're going to go to Adam and Adrian. They're going to share some kingdom keys with us, and then we'll be back with another guest on the couch.
Thanks, Pamela. Today I want to talk to you about the fact that when Jesus ministered in Matthew 8, 9 and 10, he often ministered a bit like modern warfare. You know, we watch CNN or some news channel where you can see, you know, countries are invading other countries. They would take out the opposition that exists in the sky, the anti-aircraft guns, the hangars holding aeroplanes, and so on, before they actually send in ground troops. Well, I think Jesus did a similar thing. He dealt, first of all, with the spiritual realm before he dealt with the physical realm. And so you see in Matthew chapter 8, when he's healing people from his mother, in Peter's mother-in-law's home, they brought to him people who were needing to be demons cast from them, and then it says after he'd cast the demons or unclean spirits out, then he brought physical healing. And in Matthew chapter 9, Jesus comes back to his own country, comes ashore, and he says to a guy, an invalid as it were, they carried to him, he said, "Look, son, your sins are forgiven," and then rise up and walk. Now, they were questioning that with the fact that he could say, your sins are forgiven.
You know, spiritual warfare is a major role when it comes to walking with the Lord. And to follow on what Adrian's saying is that I've experienced this. When I was in India once, I had a dream of a bull attacking me. And they worship cows and they worship animals in India. I actually, when I had this strategy from the Lord in the Spirit, had a plan to actually take out what's going on in the heavenlies. You see, the enemy wants to try and destroy you. And when I say the enemy, it's Satan himself. And I had this strategy to go in the Spirit when I had this warning in a dream and shut down this principality. You see, they worship cows. And when I did that, everything broke out when I was in India, and I saw healings and miracles. I saw signs and wonders, because the enemy will try and take you out, but God will give you a strategy through a dream or a vision or for a prophetic word.
I think that's great, Adam. The revelation precedes our move and what we do with God. In Matthew 10, Jesus sends out the disciples and he gives them command over evil spirits, and then for them to then bring healing for sickness and disease. And so first the spiritual dominion, you bind the strong man first, and then you bring the physical. Often we're trying to bring a healing without considering the spiritual nature, what lies beneath the physical sickness or illness, or maybe even be a financial situation.
That's right. And with the financial situation, things can shift. and then you can get the blessing of the Lord come to you with financial debt cancellation. So I want to encourage you guys to really come into this mode and understand this, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Adam and Adrian, and welcome to the couch, Maggie Pointon. And Maggie, you have a very similar heart to Aileen in Cambodia.
We do.
Yeah.
It was about 2010. We went to Cambodia, and that was our first experience. The second time we went, I think it was about 2011 or 2012.
Yeah, about 18 months.
Yeah, and we went into a village in Siem Reap, and I remember it's way out in the back blocks, and the only way you could get there was by tuk-tuk. And there was this tiny little village, and in the village there was this program that an Australian lady had set up for the children, for the women to come and to sew, and the children were being taught English. So we got on board with her, and we had 3 sewing machines given to us. So we took them in there. They'd never seen an electric sewing machine in their life. They had these old treadle ones that my grandmother used to have. And we took them in there, and they were so excited.
Yeah.
They really do want to learn.
Yes.
And we sat with them and we showed them how to do it. But there was one particular girl who really ran with this whole thing. And you only had to show her something once, and she would do it. So
she was a dressmaker by trade, wasn't she?
But
not the way we would see a dressmaker.
Not as we would be a dressmaker. I'm not a dressmaker. I'm just a home sewer.
Yeah.
And I think they were just making bags to sell in the local markets, and they'd get a bit of money out of it. I showed her how to make an elephant toy thing, and I said if she made those and made them out of her own national fabrics, that they would sell in the markets to tourists.
Yeah.
We've since heard that she has saved enough money by selling at the markets to put electricity on in her village and to her home. She saved enough to send her children to school, to buy herself a sewing machine, and to employ someone to help her.
Yeah, so she's got her own little micro business.
That's right, and so she then, in turn, helps the other girls who didn't catch on as quickly as what she did. So, for me personally, if it's just one person who gets it, one person to take it and run with it, it's absolutely worth everything that we do.
Yeah.
I did tell her while we were there on how to make these little dresses, and we make these and we take them over. It's just a cut down t-shirt with your basic gathered little skirt on it.
Yeah.
And we take them over.
How cute is that?
And so I showed her how to do these, and we take in little shorts.
So the boys aren't forgotten.
So the boys aren't forgotten, and also we make longer pants. And all the fabric that we use has been donated by people who know what I'm doing. So all the fabric is just, it's absolutely fantastic how people have come on board and supported us with this. But we're also going into Africa next year, into the DRC Congo, to do the same thing there. So we'll be taking sewing machines in, we'll be helping the ladies, and if they don't know, we'll spend time with them and make sure that they know what to do. But it's just, it's not a handout, it's a hand up for these people. And we can't, the Western world can't just keep throwing money at these things.
And we
because
shouldn't.
No, we shouldn't.
Either.
And it builds their self-esteem, it builds them up. This girl, in Cambodia that really ran with this idea. She was the loveliest girl. You know, she really touched my heart, along with a few others in Cambodia as well. So, you know, this is a very worthwhile thing for me. And, you know, I'm not a good sewer. I'm just
I think you're a little hard on yourself.
No, but I think, look, I'm just a home sewer.
Yeah.
And for anybody else out there who says that they can't do anything for God, just really think about what you can do and just do it.
That's the thing. You're not a pastor.
No.
You're not a
No.
preacher per se.
No.
Although I think you might give me a run for my money. But you answered the call that God gave you.
Yeah.
And it was so simple. I was sharing with Aileen the most simple call God gave you in the first place, which was soup ministry.
Oh, the soup ministry.
You know, because God is just looking for the available.
Yeah, He is. Yeah.
You know, and because a lot of people might be gifted and they might be more able than us, but oh, you know, I'm a bit busy washing my hair tonight, you know, and God just wants us to say yes, and He'll worry about putting it all together.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, I know firsthand, this has changed that whole village. Just the same as your ministry has changed that village. Well, actually built the village, which is pretty outstanding.
Well, when you see them walking around in little T-shirts with nothing on their bottom parts of their body, and the T-shirts are threadbare, absolutely threadbare, and yet when you give them something like this, they think they've.
You've given them $1 million.
Exactly.
You know, just.
You know, you walk into a village and they don't even wait to take their other clothes off.
No.
They grab a dress or a pair of pants, they put it over what else they have on, and they skip off to their village with a big smile on their face. Oh, it's worth every minute.
We're going to go for a commercial break. Then we're going to come back and both of you are going to be talking about missions, and we'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. Maggie, Aileen, let's talk about the passion, because that's what drives us, isn't it? And you girls have a passion to serve missions.
Yeah.
So let's, you know, like why?
To make a difference. You know,
Okay.
we're not millionaires,
No.
and a lot of the funding it's coming from donations,
Yeah.
or we're using a bit of super, but we give each project 5 years. So in that 5 years, we help them to become sustainable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can take our hands off and see where else the Lord's leading.
Yeah.
So the kindergarten was opened in 2015. It's a year on. We've got 21 graduates that are starting school, and we've seen the photos. They've got their certificate, and they're confident, and they're off to school, and then
That's
we'll
awesome.
get more registration.
Yeah.
So that's where we're up to, and to see the team, the teachers, the helpers, they're planting what ground they can for veggies. The next project we're taking year 10s from Brighton Secondary on a World Vision. I can't think of the word, but they're sending a team over to help to build a kitchen on the property, so that instead of transporting the food from the village for the feeding program, it'll be cooked on the property and taken to, you know, the children can eat in a canteen area. So that's in December. So
And that's so good to involve kids, because our kids here have got no idea. And, you know, well, let's face it, we didn't have any idea until we went. And it's such a culture shock that you can kind of be a bit superior when you come back, you know, in our relationship to, oh, that's really wasteful, and, you know, and you sort of have to come back to earth and level out a little bit. that we need to be normal about this. This is Australia. It is different to Cambodia. But I love that you're taking kids, because they get to experience this. It's life-changing.
Certainly is. You know, it's just before they're out into the workforce themselves,
Yeah.
and they're getting to see an economy that's on the move up, but still a way back from where we are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is. They come back different kids.
Yeah, because it's almost a feudal system still, which, you know, in the Western world we haven't lived under that system for hundreds and hundreds of years. But, you know, and we found that in Africa as well, that they still have warlords in villages, and real life 21st century warlords with gun-toting guards around them. You know, it's quite confronting. But God just sends us to love them, not to judge them.
Nope.
And the Word says that this is how men will know you, by your love. And for you girls to go in, and it is a sacrifice, because, you know, there's no hairdryers or running water often, or all of that stuff that we take for granted.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, this is the love that so many people, you know, the money that you've raised is the love.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That letting them know that they're valued.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just fortunate we were born in another country.
Yeah.
And it's not everyone that can go.
No.
No, and
Not
that's
everyone
okay.
can go. We're just fortunate enough to be able to go.
And maybe it's all right for everyone to go.
I count it a privilege to go.
Yeah.
One to serve the Lord, and one to do what He's asked us to do.
Yeah.
And that's look after the widows and the children.
And it is a different lifestyle over there, because there aren't often husbands and fathers. You know, sometimes there are, but a lot of times there's not. And these women have got no support. And that's why what you're doing with the kindergarten is so helpful, that women can actually go if they haven't got a husband and find work. They've got the time to do that.
That's correct.
Yeah. And these are all things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
But they don't have Centrelink.
No.
No. You know,
No, they don't.
the scripture on our kindergarten is, because I've got it on their little blazer, it's Jeremiah 29:11.
Yeah.
I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, not to harm you, but to give you a hope and a future.
Yes.
So they're taught, these children are taught a devotional twice a week.
Yes.
So they're introduced to the Lord for the first time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they understand the goodness of God.
Yes.
As we were saying before, you know, because our God doesn't want to take from them.
Yeah.
He wants to give to them.
Give them and bless them and show that they're loved.
Yeah. Make their life better.
Yeah.
And it really is it is an extraordinary gift, a privilege to be able to do that. Because, as you said, not everyone can.
No.
But everyone can get on board with what you girls are doing. And, you know, you can do that financially, which is, you know, that's the easy way to do it, really. Or you can do it by praying for our teams. And we've got details of Integrity Restoration Ministries, which Maggie's the director for, and also Aileen, and we'll put your details on as well, what you're doing. So if you want to be a part of something significant that God's doing in the world today, then please take part and give, even if you just give it to prayer. I'm Pamela Segneri. This is Firestarters TV, and I'll see you next time.